Candace Owens is facing another wave of online backlash, and this time, the internet isn't just arguing with her. Some users are openly saying she should be sued. The controversy exploded after Owens questioned conflicting eyewitness descriptions surrounding the killing of Charlie Kirk, comments that quickly became part of a much larger online conspiracy narrative. What started as a debate over whether an eyewitness initially described Kirk as being shot in the chest before later saying it was the neck has now spiraled into accusations, legal threats, and fierce arguments across social media. One of the strongest responses came from the social media account Cinema Shuggan, whose post has now been widely shared online. According to the post, the explanation is actually very simple. It says the eyewitness was interviewed during the immediate chaos following Charlie Kirk's assassination and mistakenly said he had been shot in the chest. The post argues that once the confusion cleared, the witness corrected herself in later interviews and consistently said Charlie Kirk had been shot in the neck. Cinema Shuggan accused Owens of turning that correction into what it called supposed evidence for a much broader conspiracy theory. The post states, Candace Owens is now sending her cult after this young woman. It continues by saying, she made the mistake of saying Charlie was shot in the chest. I'm assuming that after the initial confusion, she found out he was actually shot in the neck. A very simple explanation. The post then claims Owens is desperate, accusing her of trying to use the witness's changing description as evidence that Charlie Kirk was killed by an exploding microphone. Cinema Shuggan also argued that if there had been anything genuinely suspicious about the witness's statements, those questions could have been raised months earlier, rather than being revived now. But the criticism didn't stop there. The post goes on to claim Owens has convinced many of her supporters that the young woman was somehow involved in the incident, resulting in online attention being directed not only at the witness, but also at her family. It concludes with a warning. If I was her, I would get in contact with a lawyer, because Candace has now put her front and center in her latest conspiracy. That message quickly triggered an avalanche of reactions. Some users posted even more explosive allegations without offering evidence. One comment read, I hope the FBI realizes Candace is the one who hired Tyler Robinson to 86 Charlie. Another claimed, yes, if anyone was in on it, it's Candace. And another user predicted legal trouble, writing, if she keeps up the crisis actor allegations, she's going to get sued. Those comments reflect the intensity of the online reaction, but they remain allegations made by social media users, not established facts. At the center of the controversy is a much broader debate over how quickly online theories can spread, especially when they involve eyewitnesses who suddenly find themselves under intense public scrutiny. And as the debate keeps gaining momentum, a House oversight hearing on the CIA's controversial MKUltra program sparked fresh debate around the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, renewing discussions about government transparency, intelligence oversight, and the legacy of MKUltra.
I guess even the Charlie Kirk shooting, I just hate to speculate. Because I don't know. I have no firsthand knowledge whether those guys were programmed through radio waves or through their computer activity. So I would never hazard a guess, except to say what I've already said, that they developed means that we've never been told about many, many years ago, and I imagine they've evolved to be much more effective now. So
let me interrupt you one more time, and I apologize again. But don't you think that they could cast this broad net through these algorithms and other things, and maybe they don't know the exact person it's going to affect, but they know what type of person it's going to affect, and they know it's going to happen, and that way they can't predict when it's going to happen. But now that it has advanced so much to algorithms and the computer and getting to loners, that some of these loners could, through this just mass propagation of whatever you're doing, could cause someone to maybe take a shot at a president.
It has to do with the disassociation between what we say we are and do and what we really are and do. This has become more and more clear to more and more people. Therefore, they're suspicious and they're also suspicious of other things that aren't nefarious at all. But there's just this mentality that is created by the covert sphere. And that is what makes people realize that things that used to seem really far-fetched.
They come before us often and are too big to even answer simple questions that we have and be held to account. So it does cause for a lot of deceit.
I remembered when all the talk about MK Ultra broke, and then they were talking about lawsuits, and there were lawsuits, and the CIA and the federal government said that this didn't exist, and then they came back and said, well, it does exist, and then, but we're not doing it anymore. I guess my question to y'all first is, which lie do we believe? Because, thank you. Obviously, there was an open bar before this thing started, so thank y'all. But Dr. Kinzer? Hit your mic, brother. You're not on the mic. It's an old CIA trick. I'm just kidding.
I put myself in the place of one of those senior CIA officers, and I'm thinking to myself, like the ones back in the 1950s, well, other people must be doing this. We'd be falling behind if we don't do it. And nobody's looking over our shoulders. And that, I think, is your job. So I think there is a definite air of urgency and total secrecy. If any current research is going on, and if it's conducted in any comparable level of secrecy to the original MK Ultra, it's very deeply secret.
But one thing you said, though, it's going to be hard for Congress to act when they're so dadgum compromised. Let's just be honest. I mean, y'all are in the business of twisting ears and telling us things that we've done, and that sways a lot of people up here. Somebody doesn't want to wreck a marriage or their business or lose this glamorous job that we have. And so I suspect that has a lot of play into it. Sorry to interrupt you. I apologize.
All I mean to say is that I think if there are such projects going on inside the U.S. government, there might be a sense that we can do this without any hostile supervision.
What are the possibilities that what we've learned in MK Ultra, now that it has advanced so much to algorithms and the computer and getting to loners, that some of these loners could, through this just mass propagation of whatever you're doing, could cause someone to maybe take a shot at a president?
I know there's a lot of speculation out there about the Butler shooting, and I guess even the Charlie Kirk shooting. I just hate to speculate because I don't know. I have no firsthand knowledge whether those guys were programmed through radio waves or through their computer activity. So I would never hazard a guess, except to say what I've already said, that they developed means that we've never been told about many, many years ago, and I imagine they've evolved to be much more effective now. So
let me
anything's
interrupt
possible.
you one more time, and I apologize again. But don't you think that they could cast this broad net through these algorithms and other things, and maybe they don't know the exact person it's going to affect, but they know what type of person it's going to affect, and they know it's going to happen, and that way they can't predict when it's going to happen, but they think it will happen, and then that way they can sort of wash their hands of this whole thing and say, well, we didn't have anything to do with it, but in effect they really did, because they put this out there and they continue to put it out there. To what other method you're talking about? Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry. Ma'am, if you want to jump in.
She's within IH.
Okay. Doctor, go ahead.
It sounds to me like you're describing something like the Martin Luther King assassination. The FBI didn't carry it out, but it created such a climate, just denouncing King as the most dangerous man in America and putting out all this material about how he was helping communists, that they must have thought, it's going to filter down. Somebody will take action, and then we can say we didn't have anything to do with it.
And James Earl Ray was a third-rate thief. He made an incredible shot, 1 foot on a commode, 1 foot in a bathtub, leaning out of a window, basically, and The next day, or that afternoon, all the shrubbery was cut in front of the flop house he was staying in. There's a lot on that one that will never be discussed. I have some friends that were there, so I guess I'm on pretty close to firsthand knowledge. But yeah, I'm sorry.